What's up, Planeswalkers? Theorix6 back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena. Be sure to head over to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal, and it helps support the channel. Now today I will be presenting you with quite the interesting deck. It is galactically feared, globally reviled, and universally despised. I call it Vivien Ooze. Oh gosh, I have a ton of fun with these voices. Anyway, this is the Ooze deck that I said I would go ahead and play. I do have a few fun ofs. This is not optimally built because I wanted to have a little bit more fun. Also, we're playing in ranked because I tried to play it in, or we're playing in unranked because I tried to play in ranked, and it was it's like nothing but mono red, and I didn't feel like dealing with that. I legitimately died on turn 3, so I was like, I'm just gonna go into unranked, see if I can have some fun. So first off, we have a nice little ramp package to try to get to our top end. This is kind of a pseudo ramp deck. We have 4 Llanowar Elves to allow us to get to the late game. Incubation Druid as just a 3-of because it's not as good as Llanowar Elf. And we also have Growth Spiral in the same mana slot, so we don't need the full 4, which is a nice way to ramp. And for what it's worth, you can, once you get to the late game, have a decent body in a 3-5. 3-5. We have 3 Growth Spirals. It draws a card, which is helpful in the style of deck. It essentially just cycles itself, but it also allows you to ramp really nicely. Some of the things that you are able to do is play essentially 2 2-drops on turn 3, I believe is what I usually do. We are, of course, running the Explore package, and we're running this because essentially we have to. We do need some level of consistency, and the Explore package gives that to us. We have 4 Wildgrowth Walkers, 4 Jadelight Rangers, and only 3 Merfolk Branchwalkers. This really just gives us a nice stabilization against other aggressive decks. Wildgrowth Walker giving us a lot of life gain buffer and a great blocker. And then, of course, the Explore creatures allowing us to filter our draws such that we don't flood out or land screw against more controlling opponents. I'm going to hop, skip, and jump over here. This is our kind of our payoff cards. We have 4 Biogenic Ooze because it's an Ooze deck. I want to play as many Oozes as I can. 1 Carnage Tyrant and 1 Pelakka Wurm. The reason we're running these fun ofs, essentially, is because I like both of the cards. They're good in various spots, and we can still just duplicate those or, equip them with Helm of the Host, and they're just fine cards on their own. But the main draw of this deck is Biogenic Ooze. It makes all of your other Oozes get a counter at the end of your turn. It creates other Oozes, and if you have multiple of them, they all give each other counters. And it's just such a nice sight to see. For what it's worth, when this comes down, it is going to be essentially, by the end of your turn, a 5-mana 6/6 split across 2 bodies that has the potential of growing even more out of control. Speaking of the clones, we have 3 Quasiduplicates and 1 Helm of the Host. I'm only running the 3 Quasiduplicates because you never really want to be in a situation where you have too many at once, and I found 3 allows us to see at least once a game, usually, while not flooding us out with Quasiduplicates. And then the single Helm of the Host. This is definitely just a fun inclusion. By no means is this kind of necessary to the deck. You could totally swap this out for additional card draw, additional of the helper cards, or just more Quasiduplicates if you want a more routine way to win the game. For what it's worth, you could also just throw in an additional one of these 3 doves. Skatewing Spy and Zegana are kind of our inclusions that allow us to kind of end the game relatively quickly. Skatewing Spy allows our creatures with +1/+1 counters, which will be at least the Oozes and probably these cards, to have flying, so it allows us to play the card and immediately attack in for usually lethal. And Zegana does a similar thing, except she gives trample instead. But the nice thing about Zegana is that she is a slightly beefier body, coming down, and she draws you a card, which is very helpful. Some other support, we do have 2 Vivien Reids because this deck is mostly creatures, so Vivien's going to be able to help us to keep our gas going, and the -3 is very helpful for blowing up things like Ixalan's Binding, because if our opponent Ixalan's Bindings are Biogenic Ooze, we are sad. And then, of course, 2 Chemister's Insight, because one of the biggest problems with that ramp has is running out of gas, so Chemister's Insight kind of helps that problem. I'll talk very briefly about some things that I have in the sideboard here, either cards that I decided not to include or cards that would be good in a sideboard if you did decide to take this to best of 3. Dive Down is very helpful for protecting your individual cards like Biogenic Ooze, but I found that it was just better for me to try and maximize our card draw and just play around removal a little bit better. Kraul Harpooner is very helpful against Drakes. As you can see, the only real way we have to fight Drakes are Vivien Reids and outrunning them. So that sometimes becomes a problem. Kraul Harpooners helps against those. It also helps a great deal against specifically Niv Mizzet, because that card is really frustrating. Repudiate, Replicate. I just don't think it's worth running. It does allow you to have an additional part of a Quasiduplicate style card, except you're only really ever going to be countering like maybe a Chupacabra trigger or a Planeswalker trigger, but if that's the case, then you're not really using it for the replicate ability. And I just found that too often I was just holding it in my hand and kind of wasting my time twiddling my thumbs. Reclamation Sage, if you find that you're coming up against too many enchantments, since there are a ton of enchantments running around, Rec Sage is actually pretty good in this style of deck because we have extra things that copy our cards. You could do with Thrashing Bronodon, but I found that the fact that it's an ETB allows us to get more use out of the card. Adonis Climb, we are playing a number of 1/1 counter cards, so this card does slot in there relatively nicely, but I found that I just wanted to, stay threat dense and etc, etc. Path of Destiny, very similar. It allows all of our Ooze tokens to be able to explore when they enter. It smooths things out, but it's not necessary. It's kind of a fun card, but I decided to include Helm of the Host essentially in its place. Hydroid Crisis is just kind of a nice card to play against control, frankly. The fact that it's on cast means that you're going to get some sort of benefit out of casting it for a large amount, and since this is a ramp deck, you are going to have, oftentimes, a large amount of mana. So, let's hop into the game. Kept it to 6 minutes. Decent. I do hope I didn't talk too quickly. This hand's okay. We're going to be able to 2 into 3 into 4, as long as this lives. Going second, potentially bad if our opponent is on red. Oh gosh. Okay, they at least didn't have a 1-drop. And for what it's worth, we can Wildgrowth Walker into Jadelight Ranger instead. Let's see if this is the burn version. Yep, okay. So we're going to play Wildgrowth Walker and hope that our opponent doesn't have removal for it. And the reason we're doing this is we kind of just have to. The unfortunate thing about it is, with Skewer Critics, they have so many ways to deal with Wildgrowth Walkers that even playing a Wildgrowth Walker isn't necessarily going to win you the game. And it looks like this Walker is dead. Yep. So that's very unfortunate, but hopefully that the fact that he saved us 3 life is going to bear fruit. They do light up the sage. So here I could play a tap Breeding Pool into Incubation Druid and hope that my opponent doesn't Lightning Strike my Druid, and then I get to Biogenic Ooze and hopefully just take over the game from there. Or I could alternatively play Jadelight Ranger. Frankly, I feel like Jadelight Ranger is just too slow. And I think I would rather try and get the Biogenic Ooze out and start, making my side of the board significantly bigger than my opponent's, making it so that my opponent can't really attack me profitably. It would just not block. Okay, does he kill my Druid? Is the question. He does. Incredibly rude. But that's, once again, that's more damage that's not going to my face. And we're going to go and just play Zegana here. We don't get any value out of it, except for the fact that it's a nice blocker. Zegana is also harder to kill. They could, of course, have something like Lava Coil, but if they're using Lava Coil in this deck, then that kind of means that they're probably not on the burn plan as heavily, but I suspect that's not the case. Shivan Fire. It's an interesting inclusion, but yeah, it's fine, I suppose. We're still at 12, so we're not doing too bad, and we did draw the other lands. We're going to go ahead and play out the Biogenic Ooze. This, if nothing else, does give us 2 bodies to be able to block, and they do block nicely. And if he attacks, we're absolutely blocking with the token. Not really a reason to try and be cute. Could kill Biogenic Ooze pretty easily here. But I'm not necessarily too worried about it, because we do have another one. We have Helm of the Host. I'm going to try and Helm of the Host. Okay, cool. Our opponent just decided to not stay in the game. It's possible they were flooding out. They did have 5 lands there, but they did have light up the stage, and they're playing mono red, so I don't feel bad. Oh man. What? Yeah, be real weird for a second. I was thinking about the freaking Scooby-Doo movies, like the old school ones. When did those things come out? I remember like Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, like Cyber Chase, Cyber Chase was like the worst one, I think. Ooh, this hand's not great. And this is why I only won 3 Quasiduplicates. Because I don't want to draw another one this game. I do think I have to keep this, though. We do have things to play. So, Zombie Island, Witch's Ghost, Cyber Chase. I feel like there's another one that I don't remember. But Witch's Ghost and Zombie Island were just cream of the crop. Those were, like, my childhood encapsulated. Freaking... Oh, dude, the Hex Girls? That's probably why so many people my age have, like, a goth thing. I'm just gonna say thing. Quasiduplicate! What did I say? You're not supposed to be here. You cheeky bugger. Dude, I'm a Hex Girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. So good. Freaking Zombie Island had a banger, too. I don't remember what it was, though. It's like... Terror Time? Alright, let me look this up. Oh, yeah. It's called Terror Time. By Sky Cycle. Hilarious. You hear the beating of your heart, you know the screaming's gonna start. Oh my gosh. That was so goody. Shock my Wildgrowth Walker? Rude? Are you gonna double shock it? Alright. It's 4 damage I'm not gonna take. So like here if I drew a Growth Spiral, incredibly rude. Sure, we're playing Wildgrowth Walkers. If I drew a Growth Spiral, I could have Growth Spiraled into Wildgrowth Walker. But if this one survives, then maybe at some point we're going to be able to get some stinking Explore creatures and not die horribly. I'm going to not block. I could block the Lava Runner, but... So my opponent could utilize their Steamkin for extra mana here. It looks like that's what they're going to do. Man, this mono red deck is just so frustrating. Not because it's too good necessarily, it's just like, it's just everywhere. That was a missequence on their part. They should have played this first. Of course it's not going to matter, but... Well, that is awkward. We'll play the Druid, and we're going to pretty much sack the Druid. Like, just chump block something. So, I mean, I kind of have the hope that they have nothing to kill my Wildgrowth Walkers, and if I'm able to draw a Jadelight Ranger, like, I'm just back in the game immediately. Alright, they have 1 card in hand. Yep. I definitely do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if they had light up the stage into 2 3-damage spells. I'm dead. I think it's correct to block this. I could block the Steamkin too. Yeah. This is kind of a risky play, but I think I have to make it. Yep. It's unfortunate. I was thinking about not blocking the Runaway Steamkin for pretty much that exact reason. I mean, I'm probably just dead here anyway, because yeah. So frustrating. Because I have to block here in order to survive. But my Wildgrowth Walker is going to die. So they didn't show me what they had. I can block Steamkin and survive. If they have a red card, like if they have pretty much any spell, I'm dead regardless. So I think I take the route to winning, not the route to not losing, right? I block here, and then I go to like not a lot, and I play Merfolk Branchwalker, but I'm so far behind that I don't think it matters. So let's hope my opponent doesn't have anything, pretty much. Cool. I think I was incredibly correct doing that. So now we can start rebuilding our board. Easily Quasiduplicate on the, yeah, sure, we'll library this. Quasiduplicate on the Merfolk Branchwalker. I realize now that I don't know if that's actually correct. I don't know if it's correct to Branchwalker or Wildgrowth Walker, but I did it this way. Okay. So now we have blockers at least. Should I have Quasiduplicate on the thing? It would have been the same, except... Yeah, I should have. That was absolutely a mistake on my part. I should have Quasiduplicated the Wildgrowth Walker, because it would have been bigger. Or I would have had two 4s. Yeah, two 4s as opposed to... I'm not sure. Interesting attack from my opponent. I'm pretty sure I just block, like... Wait. What? They have no cards in... They have no cards in hand. It's a very strange attack from my opponent. I think I'm gonna Quasiduplicate Wildgrowth Walker, and then Quasiduplicate a Branchwalker. Yeah. Whew. I think that block that I made was integral for that win. I do think that the Quasiduplicate on the Branchwalker the first time was probably incorrect, but it ended up working out. And that's the exact reason that we run the Explore package. Even though I don't love it, I don't love the fact that we kind of have to, it's so important to survive against mono red, considering it's like such a large proportion of the meta right now, even in unranked. Which I don't understand why people are playing it in unranked, right? Like, you get daily wins, I guess. This hand's okay. You get, like, daily wins, but other than that, there's not really a reason to be playing it in... Alright! InstaConcede, it's an interesting deck. Usually, it, like, never wins, though. Plenty of people play it, but, just never places well. Blue Ninja. Fitting avatar. Karn is silver, but, you know, that makes him look a little blue. This is a good hand. Llanowar Elf into potentially Growth Spiral another land. Chimester's Insight on 3. Ooze on 4. It seems decent. We're going second, which, of course, is potentially a problem. Oh! For those of you who don't know, I picked these lands out for a very particular reason. They kind of look oozy. This one, you know, looks like the islands are kind of dripping. This one, it looks like it looks, I guess, more like fungus, but... I thought these were the most appropriate lands to play. And look, it's more mono red. Yay, more mono red. So yeah, next turn I can Growth Spiral the Breeding Pool, I guess. If we get a 2-drop, then I can do that cool thing where I play Growth Spiral and another 2-drop. Heck, I'll take another Growth Spiral. All right, let's see if my opponent kills my Llanowar Elf. Yeah, it looks like they are killing it. I just hate you so much. Oh, I'm alive. They highlighted it, that's why I thought it was going to die. I'll take the damage. Ow. Jadelight Ranger. So I could play... So I can definitely play the island at least. I can Growth Spiral this. Then I'll have... So I'll be able to Biogenic Ooze next turn if I take that route. Or I can play Jadelight Ranger. I think I'm going to do this. It is absolutely a greedier play. Enter stat, please. It's definitely a greedier play. And it does pseudo get punished by them burning our Llanowar Elf. But I'm okay if they do, because that's burn that's not going to my fit. Evolving Wilds. Is this the red-black version? Because that seems strange. I mean, like, it's not even great thinning. Shock? That's fine. The reason it's fine is I can still just Jadelight Ranger this turn. Lava Runner, sure. Doesn't have haste. Very helpful. Alright, so we'll just Hinterland Harbor into Jadelight. And next turn we can Ooze or Vivien Reid. So let's see if they're on black. If not, there's no reason to be running this. The amount that it slows you down is not worth the marginal deck thinning at all. The reason burn runs fetches in Modern and Legacy is because you can run so many. That's 3 damage not coming to my face. I am fine with that. I do think the correct answer is just Ooze. Gives us a large number of blockers. It gives us 2 3/3s, right? That's pretty good. So as long as I don't die to burn... Of course, my Ooze can die to like Fanatical Firebrand and stuff, but the thing is, I can block. I go down to 4, and unless I gain some health, probably gonna die. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna die, aren't I? Wow. Was it incorrect to play the Growth Spiral? Possibly. The thing is, I'm not sure if it would have set us back anyway. Played the Jadelight Ranger. I would have had a blocker, so probably would have died. Yeah, I don't know. That's really difficult. And frustrating, but mostly just difficult. Not a great hand. We don't have a lot of payoff right now. Are you serious? Why is this deck everywhere? This makes such great content. Yay. I'm gonna take 2 to Quasiduplicate my Merfolk Branchwalker. Yeah, I guess. Of course, I'm flooding out at an inopportune time. I hate everything. Chain Whirler? Alright, well, at least not a Chain Whirler. I'll block one of them. I should have double blocked. Or I should have blocked each. Because now they can like light up the stage or something. Ugh, this deck is so frustrating. At least the games are over quick. But let me know, actually, is the best of one constructed event teaming with mono red? If it's not, then I might start doing the events. But the reason I'm playing in unranked is to get away from these mono red decks. Not because, once again, not because I think they're, you know, oppressive or anything. It's just they're everywhere. And I just want to play a variety of cool, interesting decks. Play against a variety of cool, interesting decks. Waiting on my opponent. I am actively on Reddit because of the fact that my opponent is waiting. So I do know, at the very least, I should still be in the game. Unless I like disconnected for a brief second and then arena disconnected. I heard that if they go to their second timeout, that means that they disconnected. But if they don't, if it just hangs, then I disconnected. So let's see. Okay. Well, didn't appreciate drawing another land. Sure, I'll be able to play 2 cards next turn. I assume you're gonna kill my Branchwalker end of your turn? Wow, I'm surprised. I assume they're gonna kill my Branchwalker with their Firebrand, or something, because pretty reasonable block on the Lava Runner. Next turn I can Elf and Skatewing Spy. Eek. Opponent, you're playing mono red. I'm taking the damage. What's worse than a mono red player? A slow mono red player. Why though? Why would you ever not just You like lost out on damage there. That makes it stop drawing lands. I can make a 4/5. Take up my entire turn. I've drawn so few actual cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Stop it. 9. Okay. So 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. I counted those already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've for a total of 6 real cards and 9 freaking lands. I mean, I kept a relatively land dense hand, right? But still, it was what? These 3 and 4 lands? Eh. Opponent, please. I beg you. Sure. Experimental Frenzy. Oh, Carnage Tyrant's a thing. Start racing my opponent. All right, yeah, I'm gonna try and start racing my opponent. I'm gonna clone my Carnage Tyrant, and I'm gonna try and start murdering my opponent. Unfortunately, of course, I'm at 10, and my opponent has an Experimental Frenzy. So we'll see how well that works. You piss all over my black kettle. You must have been high. Eyeballs deep in muddy water. No text. Ganja plays, you must have been out your mind. I think my opponent is used to playing control, and they just haven't gotten out of. You're tapped out. What are you gonna do? You gonna ping my Llanowar Elf with your Fanatic? Come on. It's the final countdown. Did I play against nothing but mono red? I've had to have played against something else. I can't remember. My mind is just broken from all of this nonsense. Please, I beg you. Yeah, have fun drawing cards, dude. You can't cast them right now. I don't care. I'm going to try and murder you before you get a chance to murder me. That's the plan, Stan, and I'm sticking to it. We're going to Quasiduplicate this fella right here. Discarding this. And I'm going to try and dome you. Play the lands. I'm going to cast a Chemister inside. I guess technically I should have done that first. My bad. Oh, look, a Growth Spiral. Don't care. Attacking for 7. You know what? I'm attacking with this too. Yeah, bite me. I'm the one who knocks. If I draw Pelakka Wurm, that's helpful. I kicked my desk. I'm sorry. I am tall. I have long knees. This one mono red opponent is taking up so much time. And I want to show you guys cool games against other cool decks. But my opponent is being so rude and disrespectful to all of you guys. I don't know if my opponent is doing this on purpose or like, or what. It saddens me. It saddens me so much. Cool, my opponent timed out. If you think you're gonna lose, just concede. I really don't understand. Thank you. Alright, so as long as I'm not dead this turn, my opponent should be dead next turn. Don't know how long that'll take, though. Don't know how long that'll take at all. I'm legitimately just browsing the internet right now because my opponent is being so rude and unhelpful. Are they being churlish? Churlish. Uh-oh. Not loading things right now. The awkward moment where I might have disconnected. Well, no, Reddit's loading. Okay, Reddit's loading, but nothing else is. Interesting. That moment where I don't actually know if I'm on the internet. I'm in some sort of weird Schrodinger's Wi-Fi. Because I'm literally just scrolling through Reddit, but I can't Google anything. Wait, is it just because of Google? Let's see if I go straight to Twitter. Because I know something like this has happened to me before. Nope, that site can't be reached either. What the heck? Have I disconnected this entire time? Well, no, because I'm on Reddit. Alright, cool. So my opponent was actually just being mean. This has happened to me before, though. I'm like on the internet, but like Reddit doesn't want to be nice. We're gonna play another game. I apologize. That last opponent took up so much time. I was hoping to have the video not be super long, but what can you do? Oh, okay. Apparently I have disconnected. I love when that happens. Well, that's awkward. Well, I guess we're just going to call it there. Sorry about that, everyone. I'd like to thank my lovely patrons for their continued support, especially Salamander and Draga. If you'd like to join them in supporting the channel, you'll find links to that down in the description below, along with links to my Discord server and my Etherhub account. I do hope you enjoyed this video. I plan on playing it more often in the future, with some tweaks here and there. But if you did, go and tap that like button, add a subscription to your mana pool, and cast a comment in the comment section down below. And until next time, I hope there won't be more mono red, and all will be one.